All right. Hi there, Professor. This is Violet Siahian from your Poli Sci 102 class, and this is my political presentation. I'm doing it on the Texas Heartbeat Act. Oh, come on. There we go. So let's start with what is the Heartbeat Act exactly? This man right here, that is Greg Abbott. He enacted the bill on May 19th of 2021. It puts a ban on all abortions after 6 weeks. This does include rape and incest. However, there are some certain allowances for those abortions that it needs to meet three requirements. The first one is that pardon me, the woman needs to be treated by an actual licensed professional. She needs a doctor, so to speak. Second, she needs to be basically on death's doorstep in dire need of an abortion. This is the only solution at this point. She either needs to be close to death or, in another case, have almost severe bodily harm happening to her if she chooses to go through with that birth. Third is that the doctor must try everything in their power to save that fetus. So, if there is a way to find out, oh, wait, we can help this woman, she'll live, and we can help the baby, the doctor is required to do that. If any of those requirements are not met, basically that doctor opens themselves up to being sued, which leads to my fourth bullet point. People are allowed to sue those who are involved in abortions. Now, this does not include the pregnant woman. This is going to include the doctor and anyone else who is even remotely involved. I will be going a little more in depth on that later. They can get upwards of $10,000 and get their legal fees covered should they win. So let's talk about how far along is 6 weeks. What does a pregnancy look like at that point? Now, you're probably wondering, why is there a photo of peas on my screen? That is actually what a fetus is going to look like at 6 weeks, one singular pea. It'll be around 6 millimeters long, which, roughly the size of a pea. If you look in the bottom right corner, you will see what looks to be a little alien. That is actually a fetus. That is what it looks like around 8 to 9 weeks. So it would be a little smaller and a little more deformed at 6 weeks. As you can see, it's not very developed yet. It still has what looks to be a tail. Those are actually going to grow to be the legs. Just, it looks a little funky, so to speak. Now let's go into differing viewpoints around this bill. We're going to talk about what conservatives think and also what liberals think. So to begin with the conservatives, and this is all going to be spoken in generalizations, there will be some conservatives who do not agree with this ban. But basically speaking, conservatives are more likely to be pro-life. They believe in the rights of the child more so, and they believe that the woman should carry to term unless in very extreme situations. Here's a quote from Governor Greg Abbott. The bill that I'm about to sign ensures that the life of every unborn child who has a heartbeat will be saved from the ravages of abortion. So that is a very conservative way of thinking that very much matches up with the ideals of conservatives. They mostly view the fetus as a child. A lot of times, especially if they're Christian, they will view the moment of conception as the moment of basically life. There is a soul within that. Now let's talk about what liberals think. Liberals are more likely to be on the pro-choice side of the spectrum. They believe that it is the woman's right to choose whether or not she wants to carry out that pregnancy. They'll be more so focused on the rights of the woman than the rights of the fetus. Here's a quote from Kamala Harris. At the time of this quote, she was vice president. Currently, she is the Democratic nominee for the presidency. As the president and I have long made clear, taking away the right of women to make their own reproductive health care decisions endangers women's health with potentially life threatening consequences. So, again, she very much matches up with her party's way of thinking, and we're probably going to see some of this in the upcoming election. Now, I'm going to take this time to talk about my opinion and my thoughts on the Texas Heartbeat Act. Just a quick disclaimer, I in no way am trying to put my opinions above anyone else's. I do believe that everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Um, I do think that this is something that our country was founded on, the idea that everyone can state what they're thinking, what they want to tell everyone else, and you can, let your leadership know. This is just going to be my opinion. So if you yourself have a differing opinion, I mean no disrespect. So, my opinion is that this is not really a good step for women. This has not really been great. 6 weeks is not enough time to determine whether or not someone is pregnant. A lot of the time, early pregnancy symptoms will be mimicking period symptoms. So it's hard for some women to know whether they're actually pregnant or if this is just a normal part of their period. For example, there is this thing called implantation bleeding. That is when the fertilized egg basically attaches itself to the uterus, which causes vaginal bleeding. It'll be kind of some light spotting, so that very much looks like period blood and basically leads a lot of women to believe that they're just having their period a little bit early. Another pregnancy symptom that could be misconstrued for a period symptom is cramping. Cramping is a big one. That's another thing that most women deal with on their period, as well as nausea. Morning sickness, obviously, we've all pretty much heard of that. Morning sickness can present itself as nausea before the period. There are premenstrual symptoms, menstrual symptoms, and postmenstrual symptoms. So a lot of the time, it can just look to a woman as though, something natural is going on that they already have to deal with instead of, oh, I'm pregnant. Now we're coming back to the civilians being allowed to sue. In my opinion, this is just not a good idea. It feels like something out of the book 1984, where Big Brother is always watching. We are basically employing people to keep watch over each other. We're turning regular people into vigilantes. To continue that, these people are allowed to sue. They do not have to have any kind of connection to the pregnant woman, meaning it doesn't even have to be a family member. It can be your neighbor. Your neighbor saw that you were pregnant one day, sees that you're not, finds out, they can sue you. And this applies, well, not the pregnant woman, pardon me, to the doctor. This applies to more than just the doctors as well. So, really, any form of aiding and abetting. For example, if I'm an Uber driver and I take a woman to her abortion appointment, I have now just become liable as I was someone who basically aided her in getting there. Same with family members. If a family member knows about it, if I tell my sister I'm pregnant and I'm getting an abortion and she chooses not to report me, that can also be seen as aiding and abetting. She could be named in that lawsuit. And this leaves everyone vulnerable. In my opinion, there's not enough protections for just the average person. Maybe that Uber driver didn't know. Maybe they just pull up to a building, they're just trying to do their job, and now all of a sudden they're being sued for their livelihood. There we go. Now, I'd like to present kind of a more moderate point of view, which is how to improve the Texas Heartbeat Act. So, really, when I say improve, it's not really improving it for any side more so. I would say this is basically to add a little more contentment because when we're solving a problem, not everyone can be happy. So, this way, we're trying to make everyone a little bit more content. Everyone's still getting something out of this. See, I do believe in compromise. I think that is another very important thing that we need to return to as a country so that we can get more done and help more people. So, here's how I would improve the Texas Heartbeat Act if I were put in charge of that. I would give more time than just 6 weeks. I know that Arizona has a 15-week ban, so far more time to learn you're pregnant. Obviously, at 6 weeks, you would not be showing, so it's very hard to know. At 15, you're much more likely to know. You are, you're feeling more of these symptoms. You might have missed a couple periods, which leads you to test. So I think that would be a very beneficial thing to do. I also think that we should expand that net for exceptions to allow it for rape and incest. For rape, it was not that woman's fault. She did not ask to get pregnant from that. She did not ask to be raped. So I do think that we need to allow her more time to be able to get that care that she needs. Because obviously, when you're raped, you're already in bad enough condition as it is mentally, and to add the burden of carrying your rapist's child can be very stressful. And then I do think we should expand that net for incest as well. Incest obviously can lead to a lot of deformities in young kids, which is very terrible. So we might not want to have those kids suffer. Sometimes abortion is the best option for some kids that will be just way too sick to live or will be in constant pain. Finally, I would allow more exceptions for medical issues as well. Right now, it is only very dire medical issues. I would expand that a bit more just because sometimes a medical issue that seems to be a little more low key can turn into something much bigger. So it is important that we're protecting those people as well. The only thing that I would want to abolish completely, from a moderate viewpoint, is getting rid of the rewards for civilians that turn in others. Our country is already polarized enough as it is. I do not believe that we need any more reason to encourage fighting. We need to be encouraging community and people helping each other, and this is not how to do it. Sorry, someone started playing piano in the background. But thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for this class in the past 8 weeks. I truly appreciate the opportunity to be in your class, and I hope that you know that. Thank you.